Okay, hello first graders. Today we are looking at lesson 4-1. We have made it to topic 4. They're going to ask us to count to subtract, and we're going to be using open number lines as our first strategy. We're going to find that on page 231. So if you can go ahead and take out your books, make sure you are open to page 231. I'm going to share my workspace with you. There we go. Okay, maybe get these out of the way so it's not distracting. Okay, so on page 231, you can see Jackson on that page, and there's the number line that we're going to be using for our strategy today. I'm going to go ahead and read the story, and you can follow along as I go. Mark has 13 erasers. He gives 5 of them to Troy. How many erasers does Mark have now? Show your thinking on the number line below. Okay, so to begin with, we are going to identify our important information, right? I know that Mark has 13 erasers, and then I know that he gives 5 of them, okay, he gives 5 of them away to Troy. So that tells me that we're going to be subtracting, we're going to be getting smaller. The question is, how many erasers does Mark have now? How many does he have now? I'm going to circle that question. Okay, and then my directions are to show your thinking on the number line. Here's our number line here. Okay, so to begin with, I'm going to find on the number line the amount of erasers that Mark had at the beginning. At the beginning, he had 13. So I'm going to go ahead and circle 13 right there. Okay, and you can go ahead and do that in your book as well. Now from 13, I know that he gives 5 of them away to Troy, gives 5 of them away. Again, I'm going to be getting smaller when I subtract. So I'm going to be going backwards on my number line. Okay, so from here, I'm going to count the jumps. Take away 1. I land at 12. Take away another 1. I land at 11. Take away another 1. I land at 10. Okay, so far I've taken away 3. Okay, but I know altogether I need to take away 5. So I'm going to keep going. Take away another 1. I land at 9. And my last one, I'm going to take away, and I land at 8. So I'm going to put a box around that. All right. So now I'm going to fill in my sentence. Mark has 8 erasers now. All right. So that is what we're going to be. That is what we are going to be doing in this lesson today, using number lines to show our thinking as we subtract. If you need more time on this, you can go ahead and pause the video. And then I'm going to go ahead and move us to the next page where we see another example with Emily here. At the top, it says you can count back or count on to subtract. Let's try with 11, take away 5. Okay, so she is going to show us 2 ways to subtract, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it afterwards, but I'm going to show you both ways first. It says you can count back on a number line to subtract 11, take away 5. Okay, that's what we did on the first page. So 11, take away 5, we counted back, right? We started with the bigger number, and then we counted back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in this case, they landed at 6. So the difference is 6. Okay, another way that you can use a number line to subtract is you can also count on to subtract. 11, take away 5 on a number line. So for the second example, this time she started at 5 and she jumped on until she got to 11. So she started here at 5 and she jumped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She landed at 11 and she had to count how many jumps she took in order to get to 11. She took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps. So her answer is 6. Okay, so Those are two different ways you can use a number line to subtract. The first way is you start with the biggest number and you jump back the number of spaces that you're subtracting. The second way is you start with the smaller number and you jump and count on to get to the bigger number, and then you count the jumps. Okay? Both ways work. I am going to encourage you, however, to choose one way because it can sometimes get confusing if you're trying to go back and forth between both ways. Okay? So maybe you want to try out both and then ultimately pick the one way on the number line that you prefer. I will say, just from working with lots of first graders over the years, the one that most students prefer is to start with that bigger number and then to count back on the number line and to get smaller. Okay, that's what I've noticed that most kids prefer, but you might prefer something else, and that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do some examples, but as we do the examples, I'm going to model that way, where we start with the bigger number and we count backwards on the number line. Okay, all right, here we go. We're going to look at the guided practice. It's asking us to use the number line to count back, or you can, again, count on to find the difference. Remember, we talked about there's two ways. I am going to model the first way. Okay, so number one is 11 take away 3. Okay, so I'm going to start at 11, and I'm going to jump back because I'm taking away 3 spaces. 1, 2, and 3. I land at 8, which is my difference. Okay, all right. Go ahead and make sure you have all of that information in your book. And now we're going to look at number 2. Okay, you can see they start here with the difference and they tell us what it equals. That's not going to bother us, right? We know that the equal sign just means it's the same on both sides, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, in this case, start with 15. So here I found 15. I'm going to circle it. Please do that in your book as well. And then I'm going to jump back 6 spaces. You can jump back with me. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I land at 9. Okay, so there we go. My difference is 9. 9 equals 15 take away 6. Okay? All right, guys. So that is some modeling on how to use a number line to show your thinking when you subtract. For your independent practice today, you're going to have 3 places that you're going to practice this strategy. The directions ask you to use the number line to count back or count on to find the difference. Okay, again, you can do either way, but I need for you to pick the one way that you're more comfortable with and then use that moving forward, because it just helps to keep things a little bit more clear in your mind as you go. And then once you get really comfortable with that, we can revisit it and you can work with the other way as well. Okay? All right, guys, if you have any questions or come across something that you want more information on, go ahead and reach out. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.